Our next topic then is, if those are the things, those are the changes in ideas that we've had about families and about disability, what about early childhood intervention itself? What changes have we had? What's the evolutionary process there in thinking about services? And this turns out to be a very interesting story with profound consequences. The field of early childhood intervention continues to evolve, reflecting developments within its own practices as well as related developments in other fields. Early childhood intervention has usually been defined as the provision of various multidisciplinary services to children with disabilities and their families. An alternative way of defining early childhood intervention is that it involves providing children with experiences and opportunities that promote the acquisition and use of competencies that enable them to participate meaningfully with others and with their environment. So two contrasting definitions. And the difference between these two may appear to be just a matter of emphasis, but it has important implications. If early childhood intervention services is defined in terms of providing children and families with services, then the emphasis will be on the nature and quality of those services and on changing the child's behaviour directly rather than on changing the child's learning environments. On the other hand, if early childhood intervention is defined in terms of providing children with experiences and opportunities that promote their competencies and enable them to participate meaningfully in their home and community environments, then the focus will be on ensuring that families and other carers are able to provide children with such experiences and opportunities. In other words, the aim will be to ensure that the child's everyday learning opportunities are optimal. Thus, the aim of early childhood intervention services is not so much to be the major agent of change through direct work with children, but to work with and through the children's caregivers to ensure that the children's everyday environments provide them with the opportunities and experiences that will enable them to develop the functional skills to participate meaningfully. This same logic leads us to the recognition that the learning environments that children experience outside the home are just as important for their development as their home environments. Wherever they are is a learning environment, so we must be concerned about the quality of all the environments they spend time in. Therefore, the learning environments provided by early childhood programs are properly regarded as a major setting for early childhood intervention, not just a desirable addition, which is how we've tended to think about inclusion as something that you add on to the important work done by early childhood intervention services. This conceptualisation suggests that inclusion isn't an add-on, it is early intervention. It is where the learning is occurring. So we need to rethink our model to take that on board. In working with early childhood services, the task of early childhood intervention services is the same as when you're working in the home environment. You need to work with and through the early childhood staff to ensure that the early childhood environment provides the children with developmental disabilities with opportunities and experiences that will enable them to develop the functional skills that will enable them to participate meaningfully in the same social and learning activities as other kids. That's the agenda. So the rationale for early childhood intervention services alters as a result of that kind of thinking. One of the key features of child development, including the development of children with developmental disabilities, is that their ongoing learning depends upon the nature and qualities of their environments. So here, what I'm trying to do here is approach the rationale from another angle. We've seen that where the rationale takes us if we consider what the aims of the services are. What if we start from child development? Where does that take us? Well, the key feature of child development is children learn through the nature and quality of their environments. Initially, children's main learning environment is the family, with early childhood programs in community settings playing an increasingly important role as they grow older. The key point to note is that children's main learning environments do not include specialist services, such as those provided by ECIS professionals. Children spend the majority of their time with their families and in early childhood settings in everyday routines and activities. While ECIS providers can play an important role in supporting children with disabilities and their families, they have a limited role to play in the everyday lives of these children. With existing caseloads and levels of fundings, early childhood intervention providers have limited direct time with children with disabilities and their parents and are not one of the main providers of early learning environments. The 1 or 2 hours a week that we can provide in direct contact with children represents perhaps less than 3% of their waking hours.